So true. We are going to speak about the new year, new you, and what's up in your world, Desiree, about new year, new you.
Everything and anything. We can talk about whatever you would all like to talk about, and please feel free to, I don't know if you can submit a question or if we can get it, but maybe we'll even get it here. But for me, with this conversation and being with you is really this opportunity not to have a new you from the judgment of having to come up with a new version of ourselves. I don't know about you guys, but trying to judge myself into doing something different does not create the possibility. So for me, this is about choosing different. New year, choose me, choose inclusion, choose the lightness, and undoing all of the stuff that actually isn't you or isn't me. And it's been such a relaxing, beautiful holiday, at least for me personally, as I've been undoing what I thought I should do, what I ought to do, trying to get it right with everyone. And I've been playing with these tools a long time. And it's just really sinking in that I get to create beyond. I can live a greater life than I thought was possible, which I've done. But now this year is like, what about really creating something I have not considered? And that's really where I'm at. How about you?
Me, for me, I had some request for 2025, and this request is that it's gonna be the best year of my life.
Best year so far.
So far, because then 2026, 2027 will be the best year of my life too. And this is connected about being me, with being me. And what I am wondering now is who truly I am at the moment. Because I thought that, oh, I was too many people in the past, but
Mhm.
I didn't know who I was and who I am. And my new request for 2025 is to explore who is me, truly, just me, not anybody else.
Wow. And as you say that, it's bringing up one of the gifts of access consciousness, of specifically Gary Douglas and what he invites us to as ladies and gentlemen. But I was so inundated with trying to be everything, not from the space of a willingness to be everything, but be everything. So I had to do everything, which doesn't allow any receiving. And so, as you're saying, like, if I was truly interested in finding out who I am, in so getting to be you also opens the door to not have to do everything, but receive contribution, really get to be part of communion, receive what people can help you with or support you with. And it's like there's many personas that I created over like growing up in order to take care of myself. I would create like being maternal for myself or being paternal for myself or caring for myself by judging me into X, Y, or Z. So if we actually got to find out who we are, just get this sense of how much more receiving, how much more are you willing to let people in, let money in, let the earth in, let the sunlight in, and we can start undoing the me and receiving the me. It's like it's so cool to have the questions and the tools to be undoing all of the personas that aren't actually you. And what if instead of trying to care for yourself in every single way or run your entire business in every single way, or maybe you guys have kids and you're trying to do every single task, Oh, what else is truly possible? It's
Yeah.
like total receiving is possible now if we're willing to choose it and if we're willing to be that different.
Yeah, and also what I'm asking for is to stop judging myself and also my choices and what I am creating in the world. And even if I go with new creation, and you open a new space with a new creation, and suddenly you start to judging it, so you are killing it. So what I am doing now is that I'm out creating this one, that I am stop judging myself and my creation, as it can go out and it can be big. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, it's sort of like I have this catchphrase that I use a lot. Like when you get the awareness that you're doing that with your body or your business or a choice or your money, body, business, choice, money, relationship. I mean, but if you get the awareness that you've just instituted judgment, how cool is that that you can catch it? And so I always say flip it and reverse it. Like just flip it and reverse it. So if you have the awareness, you're like, wow. So if I weren't judging my money, if I weren't judging the creation, if I weren't judging my body, what would I basically have to choose? Especially with our bodies, which I think is a key part of these conversations that we're going to be having, because our body is such a gift beyond anything we've ever considered. It is so much greater than anything that's ever been put to words. It is your best friend, your absolute ally, the station of pleasure and happiness. And we distract so much creation with simply judging our body out of being creative with money and creative with our business, creative with our family. And it usually starts with, yeah, that unwillingness, back to your original point, an unwillingness until now to really like get to know who I am and also get to know who your body would like to be for you and with you.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And you mentioned one very important thing, the station of pleasure with the body.
What
And
if we actually chose that all the
yeah,
time?
all the time, and not to judge it, that we have a pleasure with our bodies and with creation and with ourselves. Because what I thought in the past, that the life and living is about pain, heaviness, stickness, some wow. And now what I am exploring is that the life is about the pleasure and having fun, and having, I know, having fun,
What
yeah.
concept?
Also that our bodies can be alive. And
Yes.
I didn't allow myself that my body can be alive because I judge it, that it's too sexual, that it's too something. So
Yeah.
what else is possible with this topic?
Ooh, new year, new aliveness. And it's so beautiful, like just the curiosity and joy that's genuinely coming through you. Like we have to choose that. We can talk about it, we can read books about it, but we have to actually, there are many 10-second increments that you, whoever's listening, are going to be with your body and your world. And you have to be the one that's like, am I going to buy this lie, this pressure, it's like a compression, a contraction, an autonomy. Am I going to buy the lie of separation again? But we have to like continually choose it. So one of the things I like to do is when I identify that I'm going into a lie or buying one or letting one have an effect on me, I'm always like, wow, what lust is possible here?
Wow.
Because
Wow.
every lie is usually, well, a lie is a lie. So it's a judgment and it's also keeping you from being. And being is there's no way to define it. And what else can we know? But the one thing that I know is it has such a dynamic level of lust in the body and in the space. There's no judgment of anything. There's so much receiving occurring. So how many lies are constantly keeping us from the living lust that's possible with everything?
I love that. So this is new year, new you, that we can invite lust into our lives.
The entirety of our lives.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then we can start more be, receive, know, and be. Mm.
Well, there's that old way. It's like, and I don't want to bring up the idea that we have to look at our past or our limitations to judge it, but it is courageous and a beauty if you're willing to look at the limitations you function from or are functioning from, because if you can look at it, if you're not going to hide it from yourself anymore. So it's a tricky thing, because sometimes if you bring up, okay, in the past, wow, I really bought into like suffering and pain or compression, or I've used my body to resist lust more than have it. Okay, you could judge that, or you could be like, wow, that's all I know. That's all I was taught. That's all I was around. Everybody around us since we were a certain age was dynamically resisting their lust for many things, even just the lust of the sunlight on your skin. And so, what would it be like? What would it really be like to be the difference? So, it's like new year, new you, but you're going to be a trailblazer in that, because your family members may not change, even your close relationships. They may not change, at least now, maybe never. It's up to them. But we're constantly around a lot of people using their body and their judgments to resist aliveness.
Wow. I'm asking myself now, really, what lust can we invite into our lives, like into our bodies, and not to judge it, not to judge it. Even if the others they don't choose it, what if we can? And how different can we be with this? Because we will be really different if we choose the lust.
And it's a gift, even if they judge it or separate from it. If you enjoy it, it's a gift. And in time, it's like when you're living in your aliveness. And for me this year, I'm like, okay, I've done it here, and then I'll shut down, and then I'll do it for a little bit, and then I'll go back to trying to be normal, or I'll do it where I've decided it's appropriate. Okay, but for the future now, I too am looking at not looking for the appropriate environment to be me, but to be me in every environment and let it change things around me, and not be stuck by how often when you change something, it stirs judgments in people. And really for us to embody these tools, like, oh, I'm changing things. It's okay. I can receive the judgment.
Wow. And this is the willingness to be us.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how much more fun are we all desperate to be than we've been resisting?
But there is this difference, because I think that a lot of people misunderstood what is to be us, to be you, to be yourself, because we bought a lot of things. What is it? How we should be? How many personalities we have, like in our bodies and in our worlds? How can we show up? And we should show up in the world.
Yeah.
But what if we can be everything and show anything to the world and be us?
I love that, because it sounds like whenever Gary Douglas, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. I don't know how that translates in Europe,
Sorry,
but
Eva.
but I know that was literally suffocating me. What I should have done, what I would have done, what I could have done, and that's all I knew until I found these tools. And so to not be in the should or the shouldn't or the desperately trying to do it all without receiving, yeah, like to get to be us. And I'm just going to say it again, like, what would it be like with all of the calls that we're going to have to really open the door? Because something Gary said once, and he probably says many times, but it just like burst me wide open, was that to really receive everything for what it is a generosity. And all of my woulda, coulda, shouldas were, I was trying to be generous. I was trying to do it for everyone and balance it all, and not burden anyone with any of my own limitations. I was trying desperately to be generous. But when I
Wow.
try to be generous rather than being generous, it was when he said, it's the generosity of receiving. And we always go to the doing or the giving or the manufacturing as a generosity.
And
But to
this is
just,
a lot of doing. I'm sorry, but when you are talking about it, it's like doing, 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 spend a lot of energy on nothing.
no, that's not creating anything. I mean, it creates something, but it may not be creating the possibilities that are actually burning inside of you since you came here.
Wow.
And we all have those. We all have them, and we uh we all have our awarenesses of possibilities, and we all have our desires of more joy and more space. And the tools have been so tremendous. And also the beauty of access consciousness is that it too is growing and expanding, and it is more potent and more flavorful than ever before. So all of us willing to have more get to all have it together. And that's also the generosity of us receiving each other's yumminess, not to go to the judgment of someone has more or less than me, or I'm having more than I should. I'm having more than everybody else right now, but really the generosity of receiving is a gift.
And truly, yeah, what awareness of possibilities do you have if you start functioning from the space of you? Wow. I'm so lucky girl. I have to tell you, because I met Desiree in Costa Rica, in in El Lugar, and we had really beautiful conversation together, and I am so grateful that we started co-creating, and we have really beautiful upcoming 3-part series about New Year, New You.
I'm so grateful for you. And this is really this new telecall that's coming up. It's really like, what can we feed in coming together? Just like when we did in El Lugar, and all of you know this, it's a difference of like meeting someone and but like really coming together. It was so immediately intimate and vulnerable. And this is what's going to feed all of us. Like, the more we have these kinds of conversations together, then we're rehydrating, we're reclaiming our ability to engage and support each other, have vulnerable conversations, undress the old personalities together, not just alone in your bathroom, having to try to fight change on your own. So let's do it together, ladies and gentlemen, together, just like those yummy poolside conversations that start changing our entire lives. We might not be by a pool, but we will be online.
We can share our picture in the pool or something.
Yeah. I don't know if we even took one. We were so just enmeshed in one another, and there ought to be more of that. So thank you also for you, and that we are co-creating, and let's anywhere that anyone wants to play with us, it's all of us are playing together. How does it get better?
Yay! Yay! So what else? What else? I
What
think
else?
everything is set now, for now, for
Just
the
come and
moment.
play with us. Just come and play with us. That's all.
Thank you, Desiree, that we jumped on to Access Consciousness Czech Republic for the first time. We will see what is coming next. And thank you, everyone, that you were listening to us. And big kisses. We will share the link for the creation in the chat and how this can get any better than this.
Yes. How does it?
How does it? Yay!